Back here on the Iona Insider pregame show, John Secchi with head coach Billi Godsey. Coach, you had to gut out a 65-61 win at St. Peter's, and I could tell you were frustrated with the victory. What were your thoughts after the win, now after viewing the tape?
I go back to what I said in the last post game, that I don't think that we approached the game the right way, individually, mentally. We were kind of in a little bit of a funk. Haley was out and people had to step up in different roles, and I think we didn't push the ball the way we normally did, and we didn't move the ball. Only ended up with 6 assists for a team that averages way more than that. I don't think that we were in the correct mindset to push and run with tempo. I think we played a little bit on our heels, and we shouldn't have approached it that way.
The first half offensive struggle is probably the worst half of basketball Iona's played this year thus far, only 25% from the field. What do you think was the cause for that?
Again, I think we were out of our rhythm. I think St. Peter's did a great job of trying to stop us from what we want and taking away the three-point shot. They kind of left us on our drives a little bit, and we weren't able to finish around the rim. And I don't think that we were prepared for them to do it that way. And I think the girls, once they saw the light, they just kind of got a little flustered as they went to go up. And, again, I think it was just a mental approach, individually along the girls who played the game.
Well, the second half was a much better effort. The team came out with much more energy. What did you do during the halftime break to really motivate them, to get them to come out and play harder?
We just went back to the basics and talked again about the fact that we're going to get every team's best game in this conference. And again, St. Peter's is very well coached. They're playing the way that they should be playing. They're getting the ball into the hands of their scorers. They know how they want to do things. So, we just had to take a step back and talk about what we do. Forget about them. Talk about what we do as a team and get back to doing those things where we push the ball in transition, where we move the ball well, and we communicate with each other.
An interesting battle was Katie Ben versus Sabrina Gerador. You look at the stat sheet. Gerador had 8 blocks, but Ben had 24 points. How do you feel Gerador played?
I think Sabrina always does well blocking shots and getting in there and getting a hand on the ball. I think she could have moved a little bit more and not let Ben get position inside. But Ben's a really strong kid. She fights hard for position. She's going to fight the entire possession, and she's going to continue to post you up for the entire 30 seconds. So I think Ben won out that battle, but I think Sabrina will be ready to go back for it when we get him again.
You do have to be pleased with the defensive effort. Maybe in the backcourt, you shut down Antonia Smith and Aziza May, 12 points combined. You got to be a little bit pleased with that.
A little bit, yeah. We were happy about the way we guarded them at least. But again, it's a team effort, and we got to make sure we're trying to stop them from getting into their flow.
Now, Haley D'Angelo came on the trip here to Buffalo. She's still a little banged up, still a little sick, but she's getting better. How do you feel she's looked in practice and shoot around?
She's looked great. She's looked great over the past 2 days. She's feeling a lot better, and we're looking for her to get some time tonight.
What are you expecting? Is she going to start today, or is she going to see limited minutes?
No, we'll bring her off the bench today, but she should be able to get back into her rhythm pretty quickly. She's feeling a lot better.
Now, Canisius comes in. They only lost to 8 by Marist, but they lost to 16 to Manhattan. They're an inconsistent team, a team that's tough to read. What are you expecting from tonight?
I think everybody's a little inconsistent around this time of the year, but they're a good team when they play together. And again, I think we're going to get the best game out of them, just like they gave Marist their best game. And it should be a tough battle. I think if we get back into the rhythm of doing the things that we do, hopefully we'll come out on top.
The scouting report on the Griffs is that on drives they like to hedge out high on ball screens, and then on drives they like to swipe for the steal. How do players like Alicia Powell, who likes to drive and go around ball screens, avoid that defensive style of Canisius?
I think we have to get back to the basics of how we do it, and we drill a certain way to come off the ball screens and to look for the next pass off of it. So if they hard hedge off of it, she should be in her rhythm and smart enough to make the decision to take a step back, get low and drive by it, and then be able to kick ahead if there's 2 or more people on her.
Defensively, you guys are focusing on driving Canisius into the ball screens and making them and going above them. Why is that important today?
Canisius does a great job of rejecting the ball screens and then finding their open shooters. They play well within their roles, and a lot of them are able to reject it and then get the defense scrambling. So we want to make sure that we're pushing them into the ball screen, making them go off of it, because we defend better that way.
The Golden Griffs have 2 pretty good shooters in Megan Hohuli and Jen Morbido, and they sometimes are on the floor at the same time. What's the game plan when they're both on the floor?
Communication. It all comes down to communication. As soon as they get the offensive or the defensive rebound and come at us, we have to make sure we're talking about where they are at all times.
Energy was lacking at the start of St. Peter's. Do you feel the team is ready today to come out with a lot more energy?
I sure hope so. I definitely hope so. I think we had a good shoot around. They were very energetic this morning, and we hope we go into it with the right mindset.
All right, Coach, good luck today.
Thank you.